Today I'm going to be giving an updated 2026 Senate election map prediction. Now right now Donald Trump's approval rating is minus 0.6%, which is pretty good, and that's how I'm going to be predicting these races for 2026. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with the Democrat safe states. We have Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Delaware, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, putting their safe states at 40. Now we're going to go to the Republican safe states. We have Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Iowa, putting their safe states at 50. Now we're going to go to the likely states for each party, starting off with the Democrats. The first one that I have is the state of New Mexico. Now looking back at the 2024 election, Donald Trump did relatively well in New Mexico. Harris only won the state by 6 points. He improved in a lot of Hispanic majority places in New Mexico. And New Mexico has been one of those states that have been trending to the right in recent elections. But I do believe that because it's going to be a Trump midterm, I don't see it shifting any further to the right. Of course, the more high propensity urban Democrat voters are going to turn out in New Mexico, and the GOP has become the party of the low propensity voters, and that's going to hurt in midterm elections. And so for that reason, I have this as a likely state for the Democrats. Another likely state that I have is the state of Virginia. Now, Virginia, like New Mexico, has taken a shift to the right. If we look at the results in Virginia in 2024, we see that Harris won the state by 5.6%. But comparing that to past elections, that's a lot better than he did in 2020, where Biden won the state by 10.1 points. And Trump has done a lot better in the Nova part. We see that Fairfax County, Biden won it by 41.8%. Harris only won it by 34.7%. So that's a pretty big shift to the right. You also see some suburbs or exurbs like Spotsylvania County, Caroline County, going from lean and likely, this one did stay likely, but they became more Republican in this northern part. And Republicans have been doing pretty well in the rural parts of Virginia in recent elections. And so I do believe it's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout for the Democrat, but I still do see the Democrat winning it by a likely margin. So that finishes off our likely states. Now I'm going to go to the likely states for the Republicans. The first one I have is the state of Ohio. Now, Donald Trump did very well in Ohio in the 2024 election. He won it by 11.2%. And if we actually compare that to the last election, that's about a 3-point shift to the right. Now, on the Senate level, it was a lot closer. We see that Bernie Moreno unseated incumbent Sherrod Brown by 3.6%. And Sherrod Brown was a very good incumbent for the Democrats. He was more moderate, and he was well liked in Ohio. But because of polarization, Bernie Moreno was able to win. Now, I do believe Ohio is definitely going to be between 6 and 12 points. Number one, because Trump only won it by 11 points. And also number two, because it's going to be a Trump midterm. And if you look back at 2018, Democrats outperformed across the board in a lot of these Senate races because it was a Trump midterm. And so those are the reasons why I have Ohio as a likely state. Another likely state that I have is the state of Maine. Susan Collins is the Republican incumbent. And if we actually look at the last election that we have Susan Collins, I don't have it up on the board, but Susan Collins won by 9 points in deep blue Maine. Angus King, who's an independent but caucuses with the Democrats, won by 17 points. But Susan Collins was able to win in 2020. And she is a definitely more moderate senator from Maine. She is pro-choice and she's liberal on a lot of issues. But still, she's kind of popular in Maine and she has appeal among some liberals, and for that reason, I'm going to put this into the likely Republican column. And I did forget one likely state for the Democrats. That's the state of New Jersey. New Jersey, of course, has taken a shift to the right along with Virginia and New Mexico. I only voted for Harris by 6 points. There is an important governor election coming up, and Republicans have a good chance of taking back the governorship. Now, I don't think they're favored, but they definitely could take it back. We see that Trump was able to flip Passaic County, which went for Biden by a lot. We see in the last election, Passaic County voted for Biden by 16 points, but Trump was able to flip this. And so Republicans are making inroads in New Jersey, and that is the reason why I have it as a likely state for the Democrat. Now we're going to go to the lean margins for each party. For the Democrats, the lean margin I have is the state of Minnesota. Now, incumbent Democrat Senator Tina Smith is retiring. That's one of the reasons why I have it a little closer. Harris won the state by a little over 4 points. But Minnesota has really been dominated by St. Paul and Minneapolis, these two very big metropolitan areas where Democrats run up votes and they're able to amplify their voice over the rural counties. And Minnesota has the longest streak of voting for a Democrat in the presidential level, and Democrats do have dominance in Minnesota. And so even though Minnesota did get close to this election from 2020, I still do see it as a lean margin for the Democrat in 2026. Another lean margin that I have is New Hampshire. Now, this could definitely be a Republican flip. And there's one X factor that we are waiting to see what's happening, and that's if Chris Sununu is going to run. Chris Sununu said that I have not ruled it out completely on a possible Senate bid. If he does announce that he's going to run for Senate, I would have this as a flip for the Republicans, but he hasn't announced that yet, and he didn't run for Senate in 2022, which makes me believe that he might not run for Senate in 2026. But for right now, it's going to be an open seat. Jeanne Shaheen, the Democrat, has retired, and so for right now, I'm going to put this in the lean margin, but that could change. And then these last 3 seats are going to be decided by a tilt margin, in my opinion. The first one I have is the state of North Carolina, where Thom Tillis is most likely going to run for re-election. I have North Carolina as a tilt state because Republicans have had a lot of dominance in Republicans in North Carolina in recent elections. Of course, Trump won North Carolina in 2016, 2020, and 2024. And also, Republicans have just won Senate seats consistently in North Carolina. Now, yes, Democrats have been able to win statewide races in North Carolina, but they've really struggled when it comes to the federal races. And another reason why I have North Carolina going to the Republicans is because the Democrat Party, as of right now, which it could definitely change, but as of right now, they have a record low approval rating, 29%. And so assuming that they are still pretty unpopular coming into the 2026 elections, I don't think they're going to be able to get moderate voters. They're probably going to have their base turnout, but not moderate voters. And so for that reason, I have North Carolina as a tilt state. Another state that I have as a tilt state is the state of Georgia. Now, I do believe Brian Kemp is going to run. And if Brian Kemp runs, I really do believe he will be able to flip this from Jon Ossoff. But again, like Chris Sununu, if he decides not to run, I probably do not see a Republican winning in Georgia. Trump won Georgia by 2.2%. But if you take the shift from Georgia and compare it to the national shift, Georgia actually shifted left relative to the nation. And so if Brian Kemp decides to run, I think it would be a flip. But if any other Republican runs, I would see Jon Ossoff holding on as of right now. And then we have the last one, the state of Michigan. I actually have Democrats holding on to Michigan, and that's because Pete Buttigieg has announced that he is not going to run for the Senate in Michigan. I think if Pete Buttigieg ran, I think Democrats would have had a big possibility of actually not keeping this Senate seat. It's going to be an open Senate seat because Gary Peters, the Democrat incumbent, has decided to retire. But I do still see Democrats keeping this seat because it's going to be a Trump midterm, and because Democrats have done very well in Michigan, especially in the statewide races. I think if you look back at when Michigan had a Republican senator, you have to go back to the 1990s. That's how long Democrats have had dominance in the state. And so for that reason, I have Michigan as a tilt Democrat state. So this is my updated prediction for the month of March 2025. Republicans would win 54 seats to the Democrats' 46. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button down below and subscribe. Comment your thoughts or suggestions in the comment section down below. Of course, shout out to our channel member, Diana Barbie. And if you would like to become a member and get exclusive benefits, make sure to join the channel down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.